You're an hour into a film you're not enjoying. You know you're not enjoying it. And you keep watching, because, and this is the actual reason, you've already watched an hour. That sentence makes no sense when you say it out loud. But you'll do it again this week, and probably with something more expensive than a film. Here's the experiment that pinned this down, and it's beautifully simple. Researchers told people to imagine they bought a $100 ticket for a ski trip to Michigan. Then, later, they found a better trip to Wisconsin and bought that ticket too, for $50. Then they discover the trips are on the same weekend. The tickets can't be refunded or sold. They have to pick one. Which do they take? Most people took the Michigan trip, the $100 one, even though the $50 trip was explicitly described as the one they'd enjoy more. Read that again, because it's genuinely strange. They chose the worst weekend to protect money that was already gone either way. That's the sunk cost fallacy. A sunk cost is anything you've already spent that you can't get back: money, time, effort, years. And rationally, it should have zero influence on what you do next, because no future choice can recover it. The only question that matters is what happens from here. But that's not how it feels. Two things are running underneath. The first is loss aversion, which we've looked at before. Walking away means officially registering a loss. Continuing keeps it unresolved, and unresolved feels lighter than confirmed. The second is that we badly want our past selves to have been reasonable. Quitting doesn't just cost you the thing, it means admitting the previous decision was wrong. So you keep going, partly to protect the story that you knew what you were doing. And there's a nasty compounding property here. The longer you stay, the more you've invested, and the more you've invested, the harder quitting becomes. The trap tightens the more time you spend in it. Which means the worst possible strategy is to wait and see how you feel later. Because later you'll be even more committed, for reasons that have nothing to do with whether it's working. That's why people finish books they hate, stay in courses they've stopped caring about, and hold declining investments for years. Not because they're stupid, because the cost of walking away keeps growing. And there's a detail here that makes the trap much tighter than it first looks. Sunk costs aren't only money and time. The heaviest ones are usually social. If you told people about the plan, announced the business, the course, the move, then quitting isn't just abandoning the thing, it's a public correction. Everyone who heard the announcement now has to be told it didn't work. So people keep going long past the point of sense, not to protect the investment, but to avoid the conversation. Which is worth noticing, because that particular cost is almost entirely imagined. Other people update instantly and move on. They were never tracking it as closely as you assumed, and the version of them that judges you for changing course mostly exists in your head. Nick Hill started a master's degree he didn't want. He knew by the end of the first semester, the subject wasn't what he'd imagined, the work bored him, and the career it led to was one he'd already decided against. But he'd paid a year's fees. He told his family he'd left a job for this, so he did the second year. And the whole way through, the reason he gave himself was never "this is worth finishing." It was "I've already done a year." He graduated, never used the degree, and later said the honest cost wasn't the fees. It was the second year, the one he chose with full information, spent entirely to protect the first. The first year was a mistake. The second year was a decision. This matters because sunk cost quietly redirects your future to defend your past. Every hour spent protecting an old decision is an hour not spent on anything else. And unlike the money, that time is being spent now, by choice, with full knowledge. The original loss is fixed. The ongoing loss is optional, and usually much larger. It also distorts how you judge yourself. People treat quitting as evidence of weak character, and persistence as evidence of strong character. But persistence at something that isn't working isn't discipline, it's just discipline pointed at nothing. The skill isn't sticking with things, it's knowing which things to stick with. And there's a real asymmetry in the regret. Almost nobody looks back and regrets leaving a bad situation earlier. Plenty of people regret how long they stayed. When you actually ask people, "I quit too soon" is a rare complaint. "I should have gone years ago" is extremely common. Here's how to work with this. Step 1. Ask the newcomer question. If I arrive today, knowing nothing about what's been spent, and someone offered me this exactly as it is now, would I say yes? That question deletes the sunk cost, because a newcomer doesn't have one. Step 2. Separate the money from the meaning. Say it plainly, that money is gone whether I continue or not. It's obvious, and it still helps, because the feeling that continuing somehow recovers it is doing most of the work. Step 3. Decide on the next unit, not the whole thing. Don't ask, should I abandon this entirely, which is enormous and frightening. Ask, is the next month worth it? That's a smaller question, and a much more honest one. Step 4. Set the exit before you start. The best time to define failure is before you're invested. If it's not working by March, I stop, written in advance, by a version of you with nothing to protect. Step 5. Rename quitting. You're not abandoning something. You're reallocating everything you have left to something better. Same action, accurate description, and the accurate one is far easier to actually do. If this named something you've been stuck in, there's more where that came from. Subscribe for psychology that changes your life, one simple idea at a time.